Welcome to the Clause YouTube channel.
Together, we strive for a safer, secure, and more stable world.
Good morning, Excellencies, Mrs. Mahesini Kolone, High Commissioner of Sri Lanka, Sadiran Piligam, Excellency Mr. Uday Hatim Mohammed, Chargé d'Affaires of Embassy of Iraq, Ahlan wa Sahlan, Excellency Lieutenant General Carlos Sachino, DG Angolan National Mine Action Center, BEM Window, Excellency Mr. Ibrahim M.S. Bishtawi, Counselor Embassy of Palestine, Ahlan wa Sahlan. Very nice to see you here, sir. And officers from various foreign countries, thank you very much. And we, of course, don't have the Army Commander Raj Shukla, who would be joining very soon. Ambassador Dinkar Srivastav, sir, welcome. Ambassador Satish Mehta, sir, welcome. Shri Pankaj Singh should be here very soon. General Arvind Walia, thank you very much. General Rajesh Bhatt, and our co-panelist, and of course, and finally, our co-host, General Dushyant Singh, sir, DG Klaus. Thank you very much for all the good words you have spoken and the support you have provided to this symposium. And of course, finally, Mrs. Nutan Kapoor Mahavar, who should be joining us very soon, Additional Secretary and Operating DG ICWA. Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues from various institutions and organizations, and friends. On behalf of India International Forum on Mine Action and Safety, and in my capacity as the founder of this forum, it is my privilege to welcome you once again to this symposium of clearing danger and achieving development. I am grateful to the Indian Council of World Affairs and the Center of Land Warfare Studies for their partnership, and I thank every organization and delegate who is formed part of this August gathering. We just heard the Chief of Defense Staff, General Anil Chauhan, who has in no uncertain term conveyed that how important and how much trauma is caused by the landmines and UXOs from the conflict, and how these hazards plague the nation years and years after the conflicts have ended. They not only impede development and a life of peace and prosperity to the affected population, but they are also a curse to the mankind. Thank you, sir, for your strong endorsement. Ladies and gentlemen, your presence here this winter morning, we were to have slightly more gathering, but next year, I think we'll start slightly later, about half an hour later, then more of you could join in time. Your presence here shows that it should not only signals a shared conviction that the hidden dangers beneath our soil must no longer deny people their right to live, to learn, and to prosper, but also willingness to find ways to achieve it. So that together we can transform land made unsafe by explosive hazards into land that supports livelihood, humanity, and life itself. But before I go any further, my heart goes out to the lives lost and shattered due to these hidden killers. 2024 had one of the highest number of casualties in last 4 years, and primarily pushed up because of the casualties in Myanmar and Syria. And may I also salute the brave deminers like me who have been risking their lives while undertaking this hazardous task. Many deminers have lost their lives, and in their pursuit to make this world a safer place. Let us pay homage to all of them. This morning, we are here to ensure that these sacrifices don't go in vain. Despite more landmines and UXOs being piled up during the ongoing and maybe ever-increasing conflicts, the ray of hope of the millions of affected people to come back to safe grounds and rebuild their lives and communities continue to shine and inspire. We at India International Forum on Mine Action Safety are taking the step in that direction. As you just saw, the journey started 2 decades back when this thought came that why can't India have an organization to clear landmines? and then we went about clearing it at a number of places, number of countries where we wanted to contribute and where we could be part of the India's initiative. Sri Lanka, Jordan, Transcaucasia, Kuwait uh, are, are there, and very soon Horizon would also be starting, hopefully, their projects in Ukraine, in Cambodia, and we have the general from Angola, maybe very soon in Angola. While contributing towards these humanitarian efforts, one felt the necessity that why can't we have a larger forum where the matters concerning mine action and post-conflict recovery could be researched, discussed, deliberated, and debated to assist in policy formulation and actionable roadmap to, by India in collaboration with the world community. Though the idea of having an Indian think tank on this subject started a long time back, but it was only last year in 2024 that we could hold our first symposium, and this year we are holding the second one. Last year we came up with some notable recommendations, and some more inputs during the year have given shape to a white paper, which we have submitted to the Government of India for their consideration. The paper proposes an integrated model linking mine action with safety, redevelopment, reconstruction, and resettlement, highlighting how clearance, rehabilitation, and sustainable livelihood can be planned as one continuous continuum of recovery rather than as an isolated activity. In short, ladies and gentlemen, mine action restores not only land, but trust, mobility, and opportunity, so that when a place is declared safe, it can immediately become productive and secure for those who depend on it. From last year's theme of pathways to safer ground, this year we are moving forward to conversation to concrete actions, making mine action being an enabler of getting the nations and communities back to pre-conflict life, thereby restoring environment, infrastructure, housing, lost incomes, and social connections to allow for a life with dignity and lasting peace. As you just heard, the word enabler, which I just used, is the key theme of today's symposium. We have in this August gathering dignitaries who have seen firsthand the challenges a nation faces due to armed conflict. The challenge is even more complex if in this conflict we have non-state actors. Non-standard employment of explosive devices, also called IEDs, add to the complexity. For clearing teams like Horizons and many other in the world, ever-increasing lethality of arsenals developed and used, cluster munitions, uranium-tipped ammunition, and despite various humanitarian laws, treaties, and conventions, their non-adherence in conflicts make the task not just hugely dangerous, but also slow. While this is not the forum to discuss the politics behind conflict and debate on how they can be stopped, what is universally accepted and known is the trauma that the communities and nations face for years to come due to the trail of vast damage and destruction in the aftermath of conflict. ERWs continue to keep the conflicts alive years after the guns have gone silent by causing casualties, most of the children, and are the biggest impediment to resettlement and reconstruction. We just saw the CDS also mentioning the number of casualties which have been happening throughout the year and which will continue. And especially as soon as the areas are cleared, then the casualty level does go up. There are almost 7,500 to 10,000 million metric tons of rubble and debris in Gaza, which can only be handled once it is rendered safe. We have professionals from IIT here who would well understand the quantum and the size of work which is required just to handle it, and this can only be handled once we have the area safe. Having a concrete plan of action, adequate funding, resource mobilization, tech development, and involvement of the affected community to take up the ownership is the key to quick recovery. Though it may not sound so formidable when we talk, the clearance efforts are hugely hazardous, painstakingly slow, and expensive. This thereby slows the pace of recovery, and it takes years before the affected regions get back to normalcy. Elaborate organizations at national level, steered by the central government of the affected countries, national mine action centers, and down to the mine clearance organizations, NGOs, military, and national staff, who come together to undertake various aspects of addressing this work. Idea is to undertake the activity in as much safety as possible because we don't want casualties while the clearance is going on. Though, ladies and gentlemen, various means of clearance are available, like manual, mechanical, employing demining dogs, and even rats. You would have seen various videos, as well as development of survey techniques using satellite, imagery, drones, and vehicle-towed sensors. The pace of clearance is still very slow. Just to know how much resources intensive is the clearance, may I inform that one deminer takes anywhere up to, can clear just about 10 square meter to 100 square meter in a day in a minefield. Where one can employ mechanical equipment, the rate averages to about 5,000 to 20,000, but that also depends upon the terrain where you can use it. Dogs can search an average of about 1,000 to 1,500 in a day, square meter in a day, but that also depends, again, the terrain and how well and for how long we can use them. Same goes for the rats. There are apopo rats where it can search about 400 square meter in a day. This is just the searching. We are not talking about the clearing, the diffusing part. So in the case of battle area clearance, where there are no mines but only UXOs, the pace can be about 1,000 to 1,500 for a man per day. With the machines, this can easily go up to 10,000 to 20 to 30,000 square meter a day, which is the survey, but thereafter you have to do the identification and the clearance part. So a lot of innovations are taking place in this field, including the use of AI for obstacles modeling, for finding the best way to come up with clearance operations. There is no denial that minefield clearance is a slow process where patience is to be maintained to avoid any unwanted casualty. It takes just about $3 to make a mine and almost $1,000 to $2,000 to clear one. And also the cost of clearing, this is an average. The world average says that almost for 5,000 devices, one life is lost. A world where more than 60 countries and regions have land mines and explosive remnants of war, covering hundreds of millions of square meters of area, with hundreds of millions of ERWs, one can imagine the time and resources needed to clear them. Billions of dollars are needed to just address the current contamination. Unfortunately, the fundings have not kept pace to the requirement. In the last decade, the pattern has been just about $700 to $800 million per year. Only in 2023, the figure crossed to $1 billion. Does it meet the requirement? It is a big no. Just for Gaza, the estimates are more than $1 billion for just mine action. And for Ukraine, the figure is ranging from 20 to 30. And last year, they have done great progress. It was close to $60 billion. If this is the trend, the requirement is much more globally. With current conflicts having no visibility of ending, the problem is ever increasing and requiring additional resources to make safer grounds. While the scale of problem remains substantial, we have also seen some meaningful progress. In 2024, international and national operators released more than 1,000 square kilometers of contaminated land and destroyed well over 100,000 of mines. Improvement in precision targeting also requires less number of ammunition, thereby reducing the number of UXOs. How the UXOs are formed, my military colleagues will agree that there is almost about 2 to 3% of ammunition which is bombarded or sent to the target doesn't explode. It becomes a UXO. And the quantum of them which is landing on the targets these days or has landed in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, we all know, has left an array of UXOs. Out of last year's aid, much of it was dedicated to emergency response, and it remains concentrated among a number of small donors, and several long-affected countries face funding shortfall that jeopardizes continued progress. If you see the funding pattern, and those who have got it is not very, very well distributed. So this is also a problem which the world community faces. Now, coming to the Global South approach, when it comes to Global South, there are a significant number of countries that are affected by landmines and need post-conflict recovery. They share similar climatic and logistical challenges, and crucially, they share the potential for mutual cooperation. The South-to-South approach is practical and scalable, where capacity and technology transfer with suitable financing model may be designed. India, guided by the spirit of world as one family, can be a convener and catalyst for this cooperation. Our experience in peacekeeping, disaster response engineering, and technology gives us a practical edge to participate in this noble cause as a partner for peace. We just heard the CDS and Dosangir. With this symposium, may I make 3 appeals. First, urge the Government of India to designate humanitarian mine action as a flagship global diplomatic initiative, which places the safeguarding the lives of civilians caught at the crossroad of conflicts at the heart of India's humanitarian global outreach. Second, plan budget and manage mine action global support as one would do for roads, schools, or health facilities. Fund it predictably, align it with development plans, and attach measurable outcomes to every project of clearance. And third, support UN accredited training, long-term mentorship, equipment transfer, and the creation of regional centers of excellence so that affected countries can manage safe and effective programs themselves. These initiatives are important because clearing mines is both social justice and practical statecraft. When a field is made safe, a farmer can sow. When a road is cleared, goods can move. And when a school is secure, a child can learn. These are the tangible returns we must demand, deliver, and celebrate. If we act together with honesty about scales, transparency about needs, and relentless focus on people, we can convert danger into durable opportunity, and we would be discussing this in the somewhere towards the day's proceedings. Let us leave the symposium with 2 outcomes. First, to have concrete, measurable commitments, and second, to have a clear plan for follow-up so that conversations becomes work on ground. With this, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I look forward to our deliberations during the day and to the practical results we can achieve together as an Indian initiative in the true spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.